Hello all, how are you? Today we are going to talk about ocean. Oceans are home to millions of living things. Each living thing has adaptations that help it survive in salty water. Seaweeds look like plants, but they are not. They are plant-like organisms. We call it as algae. Like plants, algae make their own food from sunlight, but most algae have structures that like leaves. Some algae have root-like structure for attaching themselves to the ocean floor. Because they need sunlight, rooted algae can only live in shallow water, and algae that have no roots drifted near the ocean sunlight surface.
Filled with green. Forests come in all shapes and sizes and are home to some of the most unique animals on Earth. But did you know that forests are not only found on land, but also in the ocean? In these underwater forests, trees and shrubs are replaced by seaweeds. One of the most widely distributed and fastest growing varieties is known as kelp. Kelps are large brown seaweeds that typically grow in shallow waters near coastal areas. Like terrestrial forests, kelp forests sustain biodiversity by providing shelter and spawning and feeding grounds for their inhabitants.
So as you watch at the video, there's another type of algae, which is kelp. So kelp is a kind of algae. They live in a shallow water, as the video on your left hand. This is a forest of a clip, as you see. So now we are going to talk about ocean animals. Whales and dolphins breathe air. They can hold their breath for a long time as they dive deep to look for food. When they need to breathe, they rise quickly to the surface. But fish, on the other hand, have gills for getting oxygen from water. Many ocean animals have fins. Fins help them swim quickly and control their movement. Ocean animals swim for long distances when they migrate. So what do you mean of migrate? Migrate means to move from one place to another. Animals migrate to find food, to reproduce, or because the water temperature has changed. So again, migrate means to move from one place to another. Why animals migrate? Animals migrate to 1. Find food, 2. To reproduce, and 3. Because the water temperature has changed. So as you see in the video on your left hand, this is a type of fish migration. So now we are going to talk about whale sperm. So when whale sperm migrate, they swim in a group called pods. So pods are the group of what? Of whale sperm that are migrate. The whales swim together for thousands of kilometers.
A habitat is a place where plants and animals live. An extreme habitat is a place where plants and animals live that has extreme conditions. A desert is an example of an extreme habitat. A desert is a dry habitat that gets very little rain. Hot deserts are hot during the day and cool at night. Did you know that desert plants can store water in their stems and leaves? The saguaro cactus can store up to 200 gallons of water during a heavy rainfall. Many plants have roots that spread deep into the soil, but cactus roots are different. Many cactus roots are shallow and stay close to the surface so they can soak up as much rainwater as possible. Tortoises, snakes, and lizards are a few of the animals that live in a hot desert. Desert animals survive by getting most of their water from eating plants or other animals. Many desert animals survive the hot desert temperatures by sleeping during the day and coming out at night when it is cooler. Cold deserts are also an extreme habitat. The Arctic is a desert near the North Pole. It is very cold, dry, and windy. Reindeer, polar bears, walruses, Whales, Arctic foxes, and seals are some of the animals that live in the Arctic. Polar bears and foxes grow thick white fur to keep them warm. Walruses, whales, and seals have thick blubber that helps them stay warm. In the Arctic, there are many small plants, but no tall trees. Arctic plants grow very close to the ground, so they can be sheltered from cold winds. These plants have shallow roots because the soil under the surface stays frozen all year. Many plants and animals are able to live in extreme habitats because they have special features and ways of living that help them stay alive.
So after watching that video, please answer this question. The question number 1 is, what is the difference between habitat and extreme habitat? Remember the video we're talking about the extreme habitats. So what is the difference between habitats and the extreme habitats? Question number 2 is, explain what makes the desert and Arctic habitat extreme. Why desert is an extreme habitat and why Arctic is extreme habitat. The question number 3 is, provide example of how plants and animals survive in extremely hot or cold environment. Think about that habitats you saw in the video. What makes them extreme? And the last question is, how can plants and animals survive in these types of extreme habitats? Thank you for watching. Bye.